Hello class, this is Mr. Diaz. I'm going to review section 4.1. This is the section that we did about exponent rules before we took off for spring break. So here is just a brief review on that. The first thing that we got to do is take a look back at when we were dealing with exponents. For example, let's say you have something like this. Let's say you have 5 raised to the third. So the first thing that we got to remember is that the larger number right there is called your base, and the smaller number right there is called your exponent, or it also goes by the name power. So the whole thing itself, the 5 raised to the third, is considered to be your exponential notation. So once again, let's see what that means. So for example, 5 raised to the third really represents 5 times 5 times 5. So 5 times 5 times 5, all we have to do is just go ahead and calculate this. So 5 times 5 will be 25, times another 5 will be 125. So in itself, this is a brief review of what we did in the past. Keep in mind that things are going to change as we go along. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at section 4.1. And this is the worksheet that is uploaded on Blackboard. So all of you should have access to it. So the first example right there, what they want to do is to write that in exponential notation. So we're going to go by parts here. So part number 1, letter A, they're giving you the base 3 times 3 times 3 times x times x. What they want you to do in this particular example is they want you to write it in exponential notation, just like we have it right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the bases first. So we have 2 bases. We have the numeric base, 3, and also we have the alphabetical base, x. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and write this in exponential notation. So first the base 3, and this is going to be raised to the third power, times the base x, and that's going to be raised to the second power. And that would be your answer right there. Keep in mind that we're going to go ahead and simplify this a little bit more as we go along. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. The next example here that we have is letter B. So letter B here, I'm sorry for the focusing, we have -4 parentheses m times m times n times another m times n. Alright, so the idea right here is that we have 3 distinct bases. We have the -4, we have the m, and we have the n. So what we're going to do first of all is take a look at the numeric base. In this case, the -4, since it's not being raised to any, you don't see any -4s there, besides the one that you have right there, we're going to go ahead and leave it alone. For the m, we take a look, we have 3 of them. We have this one, we have this one, and we have that one. So we're going to go ahead and rewrite that as m raised to the third. And for the n, we have n and n, which will be n squared. That's all you have to do on this particular example right there. Now, the bases don't necessarily have to be together. We have a couple of other examples here. For example, take a look at letter C. So letter C here, we have 5, parentheses 5, and then we have x, and then we have y, and then we have x, then we have z, and then we have y, and we have another z. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we have 5, 5, x, y, x, z, y, and another c. So what we're going to do in this particular case is take a look at first the numeric base, which is 5. So this will be 5 raised to the second. And then we take a look at, we go in alphabetical order, which is the x. So this will be x raised to the second. And the same thing for the y. Y will be raised to the second. And eventually you'll have the z, which is also raised to the second power. Once again, eventually we're going to have to simplify all of these numeric bases that we have here. The second one you didn't have to simplify because it was only being raised to the first power. But the first one here, letter A and letter C, eventually we're going to have to simplify those. Okay, so this concludes part 1 of section 4.1. We're going to go ahead and take a look at part 2 in a little bit.